So we'll get started and we'll start projecting in a little while. Thank you everyone for joining this session. I'm hoping that at the end of this you walk away with an interesting project that you want to work on. So before I get started, any questions? Any questions? Okay, that's a good sign. Well, if the projector worked, you would see that I have welcome written in Turkish, and I'm unable to pronounce it, so take my word for it. Okay, so what are we going to do today? I'll tell you a little bit about myself, and then I'll talk to you about the spirit of entrepreneurship in the broadest terms that there is. And then we'll talk about what makes today unique in terms of technical opportunities for entrepreneurship. We'll talk about avenues to becoming a technical entrepreneur and the importance of collaboration. And then finally, we'll do an idea workshop with which you can actually, and then you will get to meet everyone else in here, and you'll also walk away with a project. So very quickly, I'm originally from India. I live in the US, in the New York area. I have a cute little younger brother who is not that young anymore. I have two parents who are cuter than the cartoon characters you would see here if the presentation was working. And my husband is here as well. He's very supportive. He's out there somewhere. And I work for Google. I went to school in central New Jersey. And some of the things that matter to me a lot are computer literacy and access to education across the whole world. I think it's important for women to speak up and do so frequently and ask for exactly what they want in terms of education and career growth. But in order to do that, it's important for men and women to work together. And there's a little icon in the corner that shows men and women working together and shaking hands, but you don't see it right now. So just imagine it in your mind. Okay, so also imagine a very sad, big, yellow, smiley face, a sad face, when you think about traditional entrepreneurships. Now, the reason I chose that icon is because when you think of the traditional entrepreneurs, you think, a lot of hard work and benefits that are not instant, benefits that come after years and years, and then timings that are just, disproportionate to the benefits and a lot of upfront financial costs. But the fact is the face of entrepreneurship is changing. And today when you look at tech entrepreneurs, So let's see. Oh, I've actually opened it with the wrong thing. Let me reopen that. Yes, I call him the caffeinated kitty, because that's how you would look if you drank too much coffee. So, okay, full screen mode. Okay, so very quickly, welcome. This is the agenda. That's the stick figure husband, smiley face. Yes, that's my brother. And this is the icon in the corner I was talking about, men and women working together. Okay, so traditional entrepreneurship, sad face. So the spirit of technical entrepreneurship now is that the part-time is perfectly fine. So you can have your full-time job, and in the part-time time, you can explore new technologies, you can build an interesting Android app, and who knows, it might take off. And that would be entrepreneurship, but on the side. And that's actually possible. And there's really no financial cost ahead of time because there are so many free services available. There's a lot that you can learn without actually putting money into it. So you are spending your time, yes, but financially you're not paying a high cost. It's also a low bar for entry for beginners compared to traditional entrepreneurships, but that is not to say that it's easy. And I think that anyone getting started on new technologies will see that. And even if you've been in the technology field for a while, when you encounter new technology, it still does take time. It does have a learning curve. But the good thing is that as you work through all of that, you're learning at every step. So you feel like you're benefiting throughout. So you're not waiting for years and years to make that first profit, right? Okay. Now, how is that possible is because of open source projects and low-cost hosting solutions and a whole bunch of EDU resources, right? So there are people who will write sample apps and they'll open source it. And there are Coursera.com and Udacity. How many of you have heard of those before? Yeah. Okay, so they offer free online courses, and it's amazing how much you can learn for free these days. So that's very nice. Now, but why should you care, right? There's a good reason for you to care, even if you're in a nice, comfortable job or you're in school and you feel like you just don't have time for it. It's because generating ideas, prototyping them, and marketing them, if you're into that, is actually fun. And you can actually have a good time doing that. And while you're experimenting with this, you're actually going to develop your technology portfolio. So you're going to improve your job skills. You're going to be more confident in the technology, in whatever you build, because you're getting more practice doing it. Any questions so far? No questions? Okay. All right. So how do you get started? So in order to prototype, first of all, I strongly recommend everyone have either a Bitbucket or a GitHub account. How many people here have at least one of those? Yes, awesome. The rest of you should definitely go open up a Bitbucket or GitHub account. Now, the big difference is that they both give you free repositories for your code, but Bitbucket gives you a few that are private. GitHub, if they are giving it to you for free, expects it to be open. So, okay, so for prototyping, you definitely want to start there, and then we'll figure out what kind of technologies you should learn and so on, or expand the skills that you have. And for idea generation, let's see. How many people in here have something like an idea book? Cool, 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 okay. So does anyone want to tell me what an idea book is? You don't have to tell me the secret ideas you have inside. Anyone? Nobody wants to tell me? Okay. Well, I can tell you what my idea book is like. It's actually just a document in Google Drive, but that's where I list all of the random cool things I think I will build when I actually have time. And it's a nice way to brainstorm ideas and then go from there. And I'm hoping that as I write down every idea, silly or otherwise, that more interesting, more complicated ideas will come to my mind. So that's why I keep that book. Okay. So now we're actually going to do the workshop. So I'd like you guys to take some time to brainstorm a few ideas. Think of ideas that, problems that you encounter on a day-to-day basis and how you would solve them using technology or engineering. I feel that that's one good way to get started with brainstorming for ideas. Okay, so we'll take, I don't know, about 10 minutes. How about 5 minutes? How about 5 minutes? Sound good? Okay. Oh, so I should mention that some of the ideas that I have listed here are, so the automated I love you messages are from my dad. He put messages and people's email addresses in a spreadsheet and automated it so every Saturday you get an I love you message from him. I'm not sure how to feel about that. It's kind of weird, but it does work. So the other thing is a pulley system to pull up groceries from the ground floor. It has nothing to do with computers, technology, Python, App Engine, none of those, but it's fun to think of building it. I have not gotten around to it yet, especially because I live on the first floor now, it doesn't really matter, but it's something fun, it's something interesting. The last one is building some form of a personal safety mobile app. I have also not gotten around to that yet, but it's on my list of things to do. So I'd like you to think about similar ideas, and let's talk about it in a little bit. Let's take 5 minutes. You can talk to the person sitting next to you. How is everyone doing? Good. Okay. Okay, is everyone just about done and has maybe 2 or 3 ideas? Yes? Silence. Yes, everyone has 1 idea? How many people came up with 1 idea? At least 1 idea. 2 ideas? Okay, more than 2 ideas? Okay. 0 ideas. It's okay. 0 idea days happen too. It's okay. Perfectly fine. Okay, so I would like you guys to share the ideas that you came up with. Share them with the person sitting next to you, if that's the person you were talking to, maybe someone else. But ask these questions. Who will use the product, and what will the user interaction be? So, for example, in my dad's case, who gets automated I love you messages? Probably not the whole neighborhood. Just his children, probably, possibly his wife, a limited set of people, right? In terms of the pulley system, who would be using this? Probably not people that have elevators. That would be weird. It would be people who usually climb upstairs and have to carry a whole lot of groceries, and instead they put it in this basket and use the pulley system. Things of that sort. So take a few minutes, 3 minutes maybe, and think of who will use the product and how they'll interact with the product. Actually, before we do that, does anyone want to tell me what they came up with? I don't have anything to offer, but show mercy. Okay, go ahead. Microphone.
Yeah. We talk about an app, which is a voice guide, or I don't know in English, but so for example, you are traveling in Istanbul, then you are in a street, you open the map, and then you click the button, and then you select the history of the street, and then click a timeline maybe, and then you hear the story of the street.
Oh, that's really cool. Very nice. Okay, cool. So you guys can talk about who would use the product and what they would click on, what the experience would be like. Well, you can do it later. No pressure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we already talked because we were fascinating with
Oh, okay.
we
So
can use it.
then feel free to share. Go ahead, tell us.
Yeah, basically we would like to use it, so we think about it. I think local and international tourists may use it.
Yeah.
And the interaction will be mostly like a voice hearing guide and maybe visual thing on the app.
That's cool. I would use it. So, nice. Anyone else? Go ahead.
Every morning we decided to wear some clothes, and sometimes it's hard. We can't choose to wear on ourselves. So I think that there could be an assistant to suggest me some clothes to wear according to the weather or according to the place I'm going.
Okay.
It can be cool, I guess.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
So I was thinking about an AI personal assistant that
Okay.
would sync between your devices and that would show up on the biggest or most available screen to you. And whenever, for example, whenever you arrive your home, that would welcome you and tell you about all the mails you got and etc. But by syncing between your devices, it would be available on the most best screen you can see
I
by
see.
syncing. Yeah.
So something like when I'm home, it'll use my TV screen.
Yeah,
When I'm
yeah.
away, but I have my tablet, it'll use the tablet screen.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
okay, cool, okay, nice. Okay, so I would like you guys to take some time to talk about who will use the product and what the user interaction will be like. So let's give it a couple of minutes, say 2-3 minutes. Okay, does anyone else want to share what they have been thinking about? Go ahead.
There may be Bluetooth case who forgot the flat key or who cannot find the case easily from their bags like me. And if there will be a key in my application, in my smartphone, it will be so good for me.
Cool. Sounds good. Anyone else? Anyone else? One more here and one there. Go. Okay, go ahead. And over here. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought about like a rating phone call application. Like when you close the phone, when you just say goodbye to your friend, and when you are turning off the phone, you will rate the call and say, okay, I will call him tomorrow, or I will send him chocolates or something. Like there's an application that will remind you later to call him back in 2 days or next week, or maybe arrange a Skype call or something like that. Maybe
Cool.
that might be like we hurry too much and we forgot everything, and that might be useful.
Yeah, definitely. To stay in touch with family that is not living nearby, that you always talk on the phone. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we had one more here. Right? Was it? Yeah.
Okay, my idea is about finding a parking area. When you drive,
Yes.
it will automatically direct you to the best place in nearby areas. So you can find a free parking area easily
Cool.
in crowded cities.
Cool. I think New York City wanted to do something of that sort. So it'll be interesting. You might want to look at the parking-related applications that were built for New York City.
Yes, but the challenge is finding it in real time, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Does it do that in real time?
I'm not sure. It might be. You might want to look at what the apps are doing and to see, to see different ideas. Cool. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else? I see a hand up there.
We have an idea that came from Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Harry Potter. If you watch Harry Potter, there's a map, Murder's map, that Harry can see everyone in the Hogwarts, where the Albus is, where the Ron is. We think that this can be, how can I say? I say it like this: if you are a boss in a company, you can see every employee in every place. Are smoking, are napping somewhere. So you can build a very, very magnificent company with no time to break the work. But we can't do it now. Thank you.
Sounds good. I could be sitting at my desk with Facebook open. You might want to look into that use case. But cool, that's very nice. Okay, so we've shared our ideas, and now I want you guys to think about the technologies that you would use if you had to prototype these products. So think of, there are many examples, but think of whether it's a web app, whether it's a mobile app, whether it's an app that interfaces with hardware devices, or it's some other, unworldly application, technology, product. So think about that. And then think of the technologies that you are familiar with, the ones that you want to learn, and then we'll do a little bit of shuffling, because I'd like to have people that say, for example, want to get started on Python App Engine for their idea to go talk to others who want to start on Python and App Engine, or who are already started on Python and App Engine, so that you network amongst yourself. So think about these questions for a little while. Let's say we're beginning to run out of time. So maybe 2 minutes. 3 minutes? 2 minutes? 2 minutes? Is that okay? Yeah? Thumbs up? Yes? Okay. All right. 2 minutes it is. Any questions? Okay, so does anyone want to shout out the technologies that they think they need to use? Shout it out, or raise your hand, either way. What about you guys? What technologies are you, yeah?
Yeah, we were talking that will be, we would need mostly video technologies and mostly hardware. If we have huge amount of money, then we can have, I don't know, maybe a mobile bus, for example, with the screens on the side, and then we can, I don't know, while traveling on the street, then you can see the street in 1700 or something like that. So if we have great hardware technologies, then we can do it.
Cool. So what if you have to just work with Android, say? What you?
Yeah, if, I don't know, if you would have it mobile, then it would be just turn your phone to the street and then see the video about it. And then, yeah, it may be also an application.
Less ambitious, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Go ahead.
I think it can be also augmented reality. She can be also use augmented reality when you hold the phone
Yeah.
in the near somewhere. Can we get the data in API, Google API or something like that? I can use before something like that. She can be also use augmented reality in history place.
Okay.
I think so.
Cool. Anyone else? Over there. Sorry, 1 second.
She can use Google Glass technology for that project. And also, as I said, 4K project, I can use mobile application, Android, with Bluetooth or Wi-Fi.
Okay.
And I can make it realize in mobile application in my project.
Okay, cool. So we have a few mobile application options. Who else? Go ahead.
So mine was a cross-platform AI with a backend server. So I would need a backend server for that, and to have it cross-platform, I was thinking about having its UI designed with HTML, because most devices today can render HTML, and using it as UI would ease the process a lot, and that's about it.
Okay, so what about the server part? How would you?
Server part, I would pick PHP, but any other web server would do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So we have Android web development, HTML, CSS, potentially something that calls out to REST services and parses JSON, things like that. Who else wants to share technologies that they think they need? Over there.
We thought to use Wi-Fi fingerprints technologies and a cloud system.
Okay.
That's all.
Okay. So that sounds like something like App Engine, Python, and then something with the Wi-Fi fingerprinting, which I don't fully follow, but okay.
Yes.
Cool. Anyone else? One more here.
Okay, my idea was finding the parking areas,
Yes.
you know, and now I'm stuck in the technology part because you can use sensor networks for this, but I don't want to use this application to only find the predefined, you know, with payment areas only. I want to find the free parking lots also. So when somebody just went off a parking area, I want the application to find it immediately.
Right.
So this is the problem. You can use satellite images, but the delay will not be feasible. So it may take 1 hour. So it's not possible because that area will not be anymore free. So you can use sensor networks for this. In that case, there is another problem
Yeah.
because you cannot put your sensors everywhere, especially in Turkey. Vandalism is a big problem.
I see.
So I'm stuck.
Well,
Maybe the technology should. I mean, with the current technology, it may not be possible. Maybe in the later, in the future, it may be possible. I don't know. Maybe someone other ideas may come to others' minds. I don't know.
it's still a fun project, so you can try to build your own sensor networks and your own parking lot, and then actually make it work. And then maybe 20 years from now, sometime if someone's starting a new city, they can use what you did. So
Yes, but you may own your own parking lot.
That's true.
So it's a problem.
yeah, then you might not even need a car, though.
Yeah.
Maybe you fly everywhere. Okay, cool. So as you can see, idea workshops are fun, or so I assume. I think that one thing about working through the ideas that are running through your head is you can say, okay, they're feasible or they're not feasible. You can move on. You can come up with other ideas, and it just keeps the process of generating ideas going. And I personally enjoy that quite a bit. So the last thing I wanted to do was for you to shuffle a little and get to know each other. Those that want to work on web development and backends, maybe you guys can meet and talk to each other, collaborate a little, and maybe in the future you will continue to meet as study groups and discuss technical difficulties and so on and so forth. But I'll leave that up to you all. I think we know a few groups of people and what they're doing here. And my only suggestion is that when you do meet as a study group, be nice and respectful to each other, and discuss technical difficulties in a collaborative, constructive manner. The only thing I have, the only thing I really have left is what the future of collaboration would look like. So once you have an idea and you worked on it for a little bit, you might really want to start working with more people because there's just too much work, or that you need to, say, build a prettier UI, or maybe you actually need non-technical marketing folks to help you out with certain things. So it's definitely important to collaborate. So make sure that you're able to articulate your idea to other people and make it interesting enough so they want to come join you, right? Now, any questions? How many people here are part of a breakfast club that discusses new startup ideas or new app ideas or something of that sort? Cool, I have a few. How many people want to start a breakfast club like that? Some more hands? No, okay, maybe breakfast is too early. You can do lunch. It's fine. I won't judge. My recommendation is that, how many here use meetup.com? Okay. I think more of you should start using meetup.com. What we have in the New York area is a huge number of people with different amounts of experience in development, whether it's Python or App Engine or Java or whatever it is, coming together almost every week, and they discuss the problems that they have coding their own individual applications, and discuss their technical difficulties and move on. So we have study groups, and then we have breakfasts that happen early in the morning, where you meet people from different parts of the startup sector in New York, and you just learn from their experience. And then in the process, you actually develop ideas yourself and think of what you want to do next. So I strongly recommend that, especially for the group here that wants to develop ideas. Any questions? We have 1 minute, 30 seconds. Here, question. Sorry, 1 second.
So do you have any suggestions about using these techniques in our team, or in what kind of cases, in what kind of, I don't know, projects we
Do you
can
mean
use?
you mean at work?
At work, yeah.
I think that in general, whether it's you by yourself or as a group, it's nice to set aside a certain amount of time every week or maybe every month where you say, we're not going to discuss what we do on a regular basis. Let's sit down and think about just cool, creative things. They can be completely absurd, but don't skip them. So, for example, you can, I don't know, flying car. It's completely absurd, but maybe if you start with that idea and discuss it with your team, you will get to a point where you're like, well, a self-driving car, maybe we should start there. And guess what happened with that, right? So there's actually a self-driving car that Google came up with. So I speculate they first started with wanting to make a car fly. But that's a guess. So I would say set aside time for yourself and with your team to just discuss ideas that you would not otherwise discuss. And then take it from there. And for that matter, it doesn't have to be at work. It could even be with your friends, over lunch, anything. Thanks. You're welcome. Any more questions? One more question?
As I know, at Google there is a web application called Ideas, right?
There is we have a Google Ideas team.
Ideas.
Yes.
Yes. So everybody, I mean Google workers, can send their ideas there, and everybody in the company can vote for the ideas.
Yes. Yeah. That's
so
true.
That's a good idea also. I mean, voting the ideas.
Yeah. So my only comment there is that sometimes so an idea that you have might be very, very appealing for a small set of people, but for the large group, they might not really care. So when they vote it, they might skip it. But that doesn't mean that you should abandon your idea. Yeah, sure. So for example, if you're working on an idea to have a voice application for people that are blind, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the population will not care for it, but it has a huge impact in the blind community. Mm-hmm. So I would just be a little cautious about that. I think on a smaller scale, it works very well. When it's a huge scale, I think it makes a difference. So within your team, I think that's a good way to have like ideas and have people vote on it. Definitely.
Do you remember an idea that come up from that Ideas application?
I'm not sure. I think that I definitely do know that Gmail started off as one person's idea, mm-hmm. and as a 20% project, and then it grew from there. Mm-hmm. But I have not kept track of the Google Ideas board and where all of those things landed.
Can you also tell more about the 20% project? I know, but maybe the people don't know more.
Sure. So at Google, and Sunny, you should just come up. Sunny is also here from Google, and she'll be speaking next about App Engine. But yeah, so at Google we have a 20%. We as Googlers can do 20% projects that have nothing to do with our main project. So for example, I work in search, and what we do impacts the cards that appear on Google Now. But for a 20% project, I'm working on voice-related results and responses with a completely different team.
And it's your idea. I mean,
it's
20% project is actually your idea that you want to work.
Right. So I made the decision to work on that 20% project. Technically, it's not. I did not start that project. It was someone else who started that project, but I found it interesting enough that I wanted to join and contribute. Okay. Any more questions? Oh, one more question there. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for the presentation. Really like it. I'm just gonna follow on the question I already asked. Since the 20% idea stuff, does Google, since it is going to be published in Google and seen by Google users and stuff, does Google like provide any protection for the idea?
Any protection for the idea? You
Yeah.
mean if I propose an idea and Google implements it, do I get anything
No,
out of
no,
it?
no.
Okay.
If, for example, you're going to propose the idea first.
Yes.
Imagine that someone else out there is going to take that idea.
Okay.
Does Google have anything to have with this thing?
So you're saying that someone within Google came up with an idea, someone else outside of Google implemented it already?
Not outside of Google.
Oh, within Google.
Someone outside of Google comes up with the idea.
Ah,
right?
yes.
And he gets it. He publishes in this thing 20% application idea stuff, and many people are getting access to that thing. I mean, it's public. It's seen by everyone.
Well, the Google ideas, unless I misunderstood, we have internal Google ideas. I thought that's what we were referring to. So what I was speaking about was, as Googlers, we have an internal board where we can suggest ideas, and then the product teams can look at those ideas that were proposed, and then they can, so external non-Googlers can't.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, all yours. Well, thanks for coming. It should appear. Oh, you're not mirroring. I'm actually going to sit out in the cafe area for a little while if anyone has questions. And once, towards the end of Sunny's presentation, I'll be back here and we'll be answering more questions. If you have questions about Google or anything else, feel free. Thanks for coming.